Hey everyone, welcome to Journey of Love with me, Harsha. Thank you so much for joining me. I know I have been a bit scarce the past couple of months. As you might remember, I did say that I am detaching from this twin flame journey, that I am trying to cut the energy cords between my masculine and myself so that I could actually move on with my life and, get into new experiences and savor my journey, if I can call it that, savor my growth journey. I'm actually at Holy Grounds, and this is my second shoot, believe it or not. My first shoot was a rather angry one. Angry. I need to say that word a little bit better. Angry. Yeah, it was an angry. Angry. It was an angry shoot. So why was it an angry shoot? It was an angry shoot because I was still processing my emotions, and I was kind of muddled up in my head about what I actually wanted to convey and in what manner I wanted to convey it. So I wasn't really mindful when I started recording. And that was around 11 this morning. It's now almost 3:30 in the afternoon after I've been around, collected a blanket for the horses, one horse, fed them, and I couldn't work with them. So here's the very important thing to remember, that when you're working with animals, your mindset and your heart space needs to be in a very calm place, a place of love and kindness. And I was not there. I was not there at all when I started recording at around 11. So I didn't do any horse work. So let's just catch up, okay? Where have I been? What have I been doing? I've been gone from the channel for, I don't know, I think just after the lockdown or during the lockdown, March. So what's it now? June, April, May, June. 3 months. What have I been doing? Whew. Okay, so I have been improving my skill set. So I've gone to an online academy. I cannot really say that very well. An online academy. There you go. I've gone to an online academy and I registered for a course called Equine Partnered Bodywork. Equine Partnered Bodywork. Right. So I thoroughly enjoyed the course because what I really wanted to do, the intention behind it, was to actually do body talk. The thing that I normally go to, body talk, which helps me to figure out where my trauma is trapped and how it's affecting certain areas of my body and how to actually get rid of it or tap it all out from my system. So I think I did talk about this body talk journey a while ago in one of my other videos. And, to be honest, I kind of realized during the time that I took to stay away from the Journey of Love channel, that whatever I was putting out there was unhealthy, right? So I stopped speaking about this twin flame journey because I felt that this twin flame journey, including the toxicity of the karmic, was not serving me. Now, most of you know that I do attend a church, that I am a Christian, that I am, or prefer to call myself, as a spiritual being, right? That I was or am on a spiritual growth path. So, I became a lot more involved, if I might call it that, in my spiritual growth, in understanding what is my purpose with or in line with God's purpose for me, right? So I basically started listening more attentively to our prophet and listening to his teachings. Are you living a holy life? what is a holy life, and forgiving your enemies. Now, you know, the voodoo witch karmic, that I call her that because for a specific reason. It's irritated the shit out of me for a very long time. And by talking about it all the time, it just creates more of a negative vibe in my life. So, well, the sun's kind of setting behind me, and I just want to see if I turn this around, if the light would be any better or worse. Probably worse. So let's just leave it kind of like the way it was. Yeah, don't fix anything that isn't broken, so they say. It's just the problem. Problem is I cannot see the screen, but that's okay. So I'm getting a bit distracted because I don't know how to express exactly what I want to say, because they are okay. Picture a drawing with lots of call out bubbles all above this character's head, and everything in that bubble is, in each and every bubble there's something in there, and I need to now put an order to all of those thought bubbles, and I need to align them so that I can speak it in an orderly fashion, so that my viewers are able to understand what I'm saying. Okay, so I will get back to why I was upset, but right now I'm just giving you an update as to where I am, where I've been, and what I've done. So, one, I went back to school, online school, studied about horses. What I wanted to do was actually get into body talk for horses, because it helped me to process my internal hidden trauma. You know, when you go for therapy or any kind of process where you talk about the horrible things that happened in your life, and you try to heal it, and you talk yourself through it, and you understand it and you process it, the same thing happens with your body. So sorry, it's just the wind and my nose is running and it's a bit cold. So likewise, when you experience trauma in the real world, that trauma also manifests in your body. So for me, it's always been an issue with my digestive system, but I noticed that it also has a ripple effect in other areas of my body. And I found body talk to be very essential and key to getting me to a point of really good health. You know, so the gut issue was sorted. The weight loss is kind of coming along good, but recently I needed to also have detoxed my gallbladder, liver, and colon. Okay, and those are areas where you keep anger, right? Well, you don't keep it intentionally, you know, it just sits there because part of processing your trauma and your healing through talking, it's also in your body, right? And it needs to sit somewhere. So for me, that's where it's sitting. And because if you really look at various organs and what they kind of, I wouldn't say represent, but you know, where certain emotions get hidden most, you'd find that for anger, it is your gallbladder, your liver, and I think your colon, your gut is actually your heart space. Basically, it's your second brain, so they say. Yeah. So I have been fixing myself from the inside out. And this came through much learning and growing in terms of my spiritual understanding and spiritual growth about who I am, what's my purpose, what's my mission in life, where am I going? And I associated all of that with a relationship, with a person, right? Which was not healthy. So, I kind of, you know, fell into this whole twin flame trap, and I call it a trap now because when I'm out of it, I see what it did. Okay, look, it works for some people, and for others like me who finally use logic and spiritual growth to understand the difference between a blessing and a lesson and a possible union, then you more or less can see that, you know what, I actually think this is my lesson. I think that this is something that I am blessed with, because it's given me a lot to grow, a lot to think about. It's given me a lot of new ways to look at personal relationships, romantic relationships. And so I've had that chance to grow. And because I found body talk so beneficial for humans, I wanted to do body talk for my horses. So, well, they're not really my horses, as you might know from my previous videos. They are horses that belong to the church. And I love them. I do everything I possibly can to take care of them. And also the other animals around. So, you know, I love them. So I do whatever I feel is necessary. And so I wanted to do body talk, study body talk specifically for taking care of the horses. And then I found that it was rather expensive, and it really took time out of my day. And for some of us who have painful jobs, it's a job, I should be grateful, right? But yeah, it's painful. We can't really take time out from our work day and go to school for that. So, you know, doing it part-time is great, but sometimes you can't, right? So, but anyway, I had the opportunity because the quarantine helped me to not be working, not be busy. So I took some time out, I did the course, and I now work with the horses. On the weekend, I use my skills that I learned in Equine Partnered Bodywork, and I work with the horses and try to heal them. However, it's very important to note that when your heart space and your mind space is not calm, you're not at peace, you still have anger inside of you, you should not work with animals. Definitely not, okay? Because especially horses, they're very intuitive, very spiritual, very sensitive animals, and they can sense how you're feeling. And that energy, when you put that energy out into their energy fields, you kind of, you know, create a little bit of what's the word? Discord, right? Discord, disharmony. So it's like you sitting in a room and suddenly someone enters the room and that person is really pissed off, and you kind of get that vibe, right? So you change your own vibe because either fear sets in or either anger starts to come up because, oh, this guy's pissed off, who the hell does he think he is? Or she's pissed off, look at her, I wonder who pissed on her porridge, kind of thing, you know? So it's not, you change your vibe, but when you walk into a room, or someone walks into a room who is happy and has a good smile, who is at peace, you know, like, hey guys, how's it going? And you know, wow, this is great, awesome to see everyone, you know, you're happy. And that automatically creates a good vibe with the rest of the people in the room. Okay, so that was a pretty long catch-up, 13 minutes. Okay, so why was I angry? In the face of any kind of abuse, I become angry, right? So I experienced that this morning, and I identified it as gaslighting. So those of you who might have read the articles on gaslighting and what exactly it is, you'll notice that you may have come across it either in your childhood or in romantic relationships or even in friendships, codependent ones, right? So I found that I was being gaslighted and I didn't take lightly to it. Let me explain. Gaslighting is when someone kind of creates a very friendly kind of atmosphere for you to then drop your guard a little, so you can trust them a little, or so not trust so much, but you can open up and you can talk about certain things. And sorry, it's just I don't know, it's probably the cold. So when you do that as an individual, you let your guard down, you open up about whatever it is that you feel like talking about. If you're asked a question, you would answer it, and you'd carry on as normal. And then you find that that particular person suddenly creates a different vibe in that conversation, where they start to judge you for what you've said. They start to bring up something from the past. Like, for example, let me use this example before I go on, and then I have to now bring up the example much later. So this is what happened. I had an anonymous person befriend me on a social media platform. Now, I love interacting with people, and it's always positive. The thing is, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it, is my rule, right? If you have something lovely to say, if you're honest, if whatever it is that happened or you experienced or you think or feel, express it. That's what I feel. Express it. I don't really care who thinks what about me. If I think like a 3-year-old, if I'm so excited and happy about something, if my heart really feels like it's going to burst because I've just experienced something so beautiful or seen something so beautiful, or felt connected to someone who who I could not believe is quite a little bit like me in a lot of ways, I can say that. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to say what I feel like I need to say. And so this particular person decided to connect with me on the back of the comments that I have been making. Now, you must remember, I have actually been off social media for a long time. I would tweet now and again, and the other platforms, gosh, it's been a while, really. And it was only recently, I think after May 21, somewhere around there, I then started to kind of connect with people because I was just so blown away by a couple of things that I saw, because work actually, my not so nice work, which I'm grateful for, by the way, put me on hold. You're a consultant, get benched. We don't have projects for you. We cannot pay you. Sit down. So, okay, fine, I'll sit down. And what do I do with my time? So therefore I went and did some schoolwork, and I've registered on another course that I would like to do as well, and get my certification in that, or prepare myself for an exam that I would like to take, just to promote my skills in the workplace and more chances of getting a good job. So anyway, this particular person then contacted me, and I don't really accept like people chatting with me, like in a DM, a direct message. I don't really do that. And I know if any divine feminines are watching this, and if you have DM'd me, and if I haven't responded, I'm sorry. Okay, I don't kind of get into that. I protect my energy. Let's just say it that way. I protect my energy. And I've reached a stage where I have disconnected from my masculine. I have been strong enough in my faith, especially, and I have grown a lot to rely and trust in God. And a lot of the times, a lot of the feminines, and what I have been doing as well, looking at oracle cards and, looking at other people doing readings and, predicting this and predicting that, it didn't serve me in any way, not in the least bit. So you have got to try something at least once to know what the effects are going to be in your life. So I stopped all of that. So anyway, but Okay, here you go again. My thoughts are all over the place and I have to recollect them and speak, right? So this is how it all began and why I was angry. So this guy contacted me. I assumed, and I still think I have a strong feeling about it, that this particular person was an anonymous someone else. It's like me, I'm Harsha, but I'm pretending to be Ann Sturdy. Remember my Ann Sturdy profile that I had, on Facebook, that I created because I was trying to see, I was trying to, because my job was really, public. I had a job that people could find me and kill me kind of thing, right? So I had to hide. I had to be kind of undercover. So when I wanted to date around 2016, I created this profile so that I could register with that particular name on a dating profile. And if there was any kind of indication that there would be someone who would be the least bit, or not least bit, but the most likely match, I would then meet the person and we would then talk, and he would obviously then know who I am. But that didn't go so well because all of the profiles, let's say 99% of the profiles, were fake ones, okay? So it didn't really go too well. Now, this particular person was also a fake someone, didn't want to reveal his true identity. And I really am not a DM type person, okay? You DM me and I'm going to say, what do you want? Go away. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not in the market for love. I'm not looking for anyone. I don't have anyone. I am single and ready. No, I'm single, but not ready to mingle, if you know what I mean, right? It's like I'm working on myself right now. I have no intention of, I don't know what the word is, or dating or whatever it is. Not really. So when this person popped into my inbox, it was like my response is like, what do you want? Go away. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to read your messages. Please just leave me alone. Kind of vibe, right? And I said it exactly like that. Go away. And that person thought that I was being rude, that I was disrespectful, that where he came from, it was all about respect and it was all about good values, and I am the rotten egg, right? So cool. I apologized for that, much later after I explained that, and I don't even know why I did that, but anyway, I explained what a DM actually means in terms of etiquette, because in a world where everyone is communicating online, they have forgotten the basic etiquette of being inside a direct message of any kind of social media platform. Okay, it's like a container, when you sit in a circle of dialogue, there's a level of trust there. Okay, it's a very sacred space. And you don't just enter somebody's sacred space and just go, how's it, babe? Wanna chat? Where you from? Like, what you doing? Like, who you doing? Well, you didn't ask me all of that, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. It's very intrusive, especially if I'm someone who doesn't like sharing itsy bitsy pieces of my life with anyone, with strangers, definitely not. So anyway, we then talked, and then it started to be a discussion about God and about his view and my view. And of course, my spiritual journey. I have shared a lot. I've gone through a lot. Let's just be honest, right? If anyone would like to know what I have been through, maybe in the next 2 years, I could sit down and publish a book. Well, I'll sit down now and start writing and publish a book in 2 years from now. Okay? It's a lot of abuse, a lot of shit that went down with this arranged marriage, with my childhood, and basically being steamrolled by many people, grown-ups in the work environment, and even in my relationship with my masculine, right, with my twin flame. And I have come through a lot. I've overcome a lot. I have had, I'm not one of those people who has lots of money to sit in therapy, pay somebody to talk me through my issues. I've had to do that myself. I've had to self-help myself through good emotional health, right? I've been following people since, when was it? 1998. 1998. So you can imagine where I started, who I've met along my journey in terms of guides and teachers. And then I met God. And then I was still misled, because in 99, I was introduced to God. I said the prayer of salvation. I didn't know what I was saying. No one guided me. No one told me there's a church to go to. No one told me about Jesus. No one told me anything. They just said, give your life to Christ and everything will be okay. And I said, oh my God, that's what I want to hear. I just want my life to be okay. You know, anything. Yes, give me Jesus. If it's going to fix everything for me, give me Jesus. And there I had Jesus, but I didn't know what it was going to do for me, right? Or what to do about it. What does it mean? What does it mean to give me Jesus? What does it mean if I have Jesus? What is Jesus? Where do I keep it? Right? So, there was no church. There was nothing. I kind of meandered. You know, I went from reading a Deepak Chopra, reading a Dalai Lama, reading about following an Oprah, following a Deepak Chopra, following a Eckhart Tolle, following a, who are the other guys? John F. DeMartini, went to his Breakthrough Experience workshop. I followed, what's his name? My best friend, Neil Donald Welsh. Okay, I've been following him for years, okay? So, you know, there are all these people, and there was a time in my life where I actually meandered and I went totally off track because I didn't know what Christianity was all about. And the first time that I actually went to church, I was judged very deeply, very badly actually, because I was a divorcee. And for some reason, all the married women didn't want to have anything to do with me. I was not allowed to, you know, sit near them because their husbands apparently had, I don't know what their issues were, because as far as I'm concerned, if you're really following your Jesus and his teachings, it tells you that you need to have a spirit, what is it? A spirit of, for God has not blessed you with the spirit of fear or something, but of, I remember there's self-discipline in one of those scriptures, right? So you have to be self-control and self-discipline, right? So you need to control yourself. When if you see a woman sitting there who is alone, it doesn't mean that she wants you to fuck her, right? You need to just control yourself. You know, not every woman is looking to, I don't know, fornicate with you. So, you know, if they didn't control themselves, I didn't even know what was happening, right? I didn't know what was happening because all the men were being very friendly to me and all the women were being very upset with me. And then they made sure they get the pastor to talk about the fact that divorced women are sinners. So that was rubbed nicely into my face, and I decided, well, I'm not going back to church any longer because I'm a sinner. I've already been made a sinner without even knowing that if I had to leave an abusive situation, an arranged marriage, a man who I did not love and could not tolerate to touch me, if I left him, that made me a sinner. But if I stayed with him and let him abuse me and let him do whatever he wanted to and talk my mind into believing that I am absolutely good for nothing, and that was okay, then I wouldn't be a sinner if I stayed in such a situation, you know? So 2006, I left the church and I went on to following more other people that kind of felt more liberal, more liberating, you know? and I kind of got sidetracked. And so anyway, I even forget what I was talking about. Oh God, Harsha, save yourself, child. Okay, so I think I was explaining the situation, why I was really angry, and this particular person who, sorry for sniffing, it's just cold. Yeah. So anyway, the discussion went on about religion and blah, blah, blah. And I was just answering questions that he asked me, and I gave him my views based on all the journeys that I've been through. And, what I understand now does not clash really with my Christianity. But this is going in the wash, by the way. So anyway, he proceeded to say that I've been defending everything he's been telling me. Why don't I rather accept what he's saying? So in other words, I need to agree with him, right? So I could sense that this is not an open heart. This is not an open conversation. This is not a healthy conversation. Because in a healthy conversation and in a space of trust, whatever the person is saying to you, you need to be open and receptive to it, right? You don't take offense that, oh, but I said the trees are green and she's now telling me that the trees have got brown leaves on them. That doesn't add up. She needs to see that the trees are green, and she needs to know this. Like right now, she has to agree with this. So that is a wrong way to look at a conversation. When someone is speaking their heart out to you, well, you need to open yourself up and accept that. You need to respect that. So this person came in with a mindset, just barging into my inbox, okay, wanting to know more about me. And when I told him to go away, he felt that was terribly disrespectful. However, by him forcing me to see things his way and not respecting my view as well, to me, that felt disrespectful, but to him, that was no. That's not disrespectful. You gotta see it my way. You just have to, So I didn't quite like that. Because I don't really conform. I don't conform. I do not. Anything that I do it out of my own free will. Anything that I say it because I'm feeling it in that moment. I say it because it's coming from my heart. I say it because I believe it in that moment, right? And if I know any better later on, I correct myself. Okay? So I'm not rigid in what I believe in that moment. For example, the tree has got brown leaves, definitely. But come another season, it is going to have green leaves, because that's the way the order of our world is. Everything changes. Nothing is permanent. The only thing that is permanent in this world is love, is God, and that is it. The grand organized design through which nothing moves. Okay, so that is the only constant for me. Change, on the other hand, is something that is, it just, you cannot say nothing is changing. Everything is changing at every given moment. Even me, in my walk of faith with my God, I am changing, right? When I used to do these videos, I would pull up some oracle cards. I'll pull up some, angel messages and things like that. And I realized in these 3 months, in this time that I had to myself, I know that I don't need to wait or rely on angel messages written on cards by a human being to tell me what the angels are saying to me. If I'm connected in spirit and heart to my God, to angels, they will speak to me in that very intimate and that very personal connection. Because God says, I will command my angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. He says that. He also says that because Harsha loves me, I will rescue her. When she calls on me, I will answer her. With long life, I will satisfy her and show her my salvation. He says that. He says a lot of things. And scripture for me is not reading the Bible from the cover to the cover. It is about looking at scripture that becomes you, becomes part of you, becomes your heart, becomes your soul, your language, your secret or your special language that you speak to your Father God when you are in the deepest of deepest shit. Okay? You just need to know that when you speak the word and you pray with the word, that he will listen. And you need to love your God first. You need to love you. And then you can love the world. And love is not just romantic love. Love is being nice to an animal, feeding an animal, feeding a human being who cannot feed themselves, helping them with ideas, helping them with tips to improve their lives, helping them with healing, helping them with, whatever it is that they need to improve their lives, for the greater good of the damn world. That is what love is. And so, in light of all of that, I decided not to speak about my twin flame journey because the karmic is heavily involved and has interfered a hell of a lot. And by continuing to speak to that, I'm just inviting more of that energy into my life. And I don't want that. I do not want that. I want to be free. I want to be free and happy. And, so this person and his gaslighting situation just made me realize that sometimes people will connect with you because they don't have their fix. So you know what a fix is? It's like something an addict would get just to take the edge off. So a lot of people tend to find victims or people that they can turn into victims for them to abuse because of a fix, right? So this particular person wanted to control me. He wanted me to see things his way only, not say, I see what you're saying. I respect that. Or you're welcome to air your views, and you know what? It's perfectly all right. It's a conversation. It's not what I believe, and it's not what you believe, and we're not fighting about it, I don't want that crap in my life. Please, I've been alone for a very long time. I don't need added shit in my life. If an individual is not vibing or not at the same vibrational energy levels as I am, I don't want that person in my life. Unless the person is willing. Because, when it comes to Christianity, God also says that one needs to have a humble heart. One needs to have the attitude of learning, of being open and honest, and being authentic, and keeping God first. But if you keep yourself first, your ego first, if you want to control others, because you must understand that only God is in control. No one else is in control, right? Not even you. If you look at the situation of Job, Satan was basically ruining him on God's command. God said, yeah, there's Job, take him. Take everything, but don't take his heart, okay? Because that's my shit. Don't touch it. So Job basically was ruined in every possible way, but his heart remained faithful to God, and God was controlling that situation. If Job's heart was something that was attacked, if he had turned bitter, if he had turned angry, if he had turned vengeful, if he had said to God, you know what, stuff you, I'm not interested, I don't want this divinity with you, I don't want this connection with you, he would have been a dead man, ruined. I mean, look at his wife, what happened to her. So it's important to understand, whenever you are in a relationship or whenever you try to keep a connection with someone, that freedom is also love. You need to have this unselfish love, unconditional love there are conditions, but it is unconditional love is saying, you know what, however you are, whoever you are, whatever you think, whatever you feel, you're allowed to express yourself. You're allowed to be who you are in my presence, and I'm okay with that. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to beat you up in your mind, in your emotions, or even physically, Unconditional love is saying, because there's something about you, you vibe at a certain level. I'm interested in that, and I want to learn that, and I want to basically become more of who I'm supposed to be. Do you see what I'm saying? That is unconditional love. And when you can formulate this relationship that gels well, that flows well, where you fluid with each other, it becomes a great place to be. Really it does. So I guess that's all I have for you today. I've got my angry video and I've got my slightly calmer video, but also a little bit scattered video. But I think I'm going to share this one rather than the angry video. So here I am, and I think I will look at how I'm going to be sharing my thoughts and my views from now on, because they're not really associated with the twin flames so much as it would be associated with being in self-love, and understanding that self-love also means standing up for yourself and saying no, is understanding where there's abuse and disconnecting from that, disengaging, yeah? Because Christianity is not just about being all lovey-dovey and forgiving every Tom, Dick, and well, you can forgive every Tom, Dick, and Harry, that's okay. But what I'm saying is that you need to know when to turn your back. You can turn the other cheek, but you can also turn your back. And you need to know that because it's healthy for you. Self-love is also turning your back and saying no. Self-love is also saying, I come first. I will not tolerate abuse. That is very important to remember. And I think that is where I'm coming from today, and that this is what I would like to share with everyone is you don't need to be someone who is just nice and loving to everyone and everything under the earth. Even if they try to hurt you, you need to, in a loving way, detach. Okay? And that's what I did. So there was no swearing, there was no insulting or whatever. I just said, you know what? You didn't deserve any of my time. I've got to go. And I disconnected, and that was it. So I disconnected with love. But I had to deal with a lot of anger because I felt unseen, unheard, judged. I felt unloved, even though I didn't expect it. But I mean, when you're engaging with another human being and you think that they have now understood what you've said when it comes to a DM, that they will apply that rule, that they will try and say, you know what, I understand now it's a sacred space, I can't be a jerk, right? But they didn't do that. And so I felt like, okay, this is not working, because you need to have mutual respect and mutual understanding in any kind of situation that you embark on. So, be brave, stand up, say no, walk away if you have to, disengage lovingly. So I'm going to disengage now as well. I've got a long drive ahead of me. And before I go, I did film the morning view. So let me just show you what the evening looks like. Let's see. So this is the meditation lapa that I'm standing in. And there's a lake here. Here's the lake. You can see that. Goes all around. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it's actually very good for the soul. It's beautiful. Wraps all around. And it's over property of 25 hectares. 25 hectares. So I'm actually at the bottom part of the property where it's peaceful and quiet, and everyone else is on the top. So we have a convention center, a hotel, the church, the horses, the cows, the sheep, the goat, the little cafeteria, and of course place where the staff sleeps. So yeah, and my prophet always jokes with everyone, because I say whenever I bring people in and I take them to him for people to greet him, he says, I'm not the owner, she is. So I don't own this place, it's not mine. But yeah, so prophet jokes a lot. But anyway, guys, you take care. I'm sending you lots of love, and remember, clean your heart, keep yourself free of anger, and just be the most beautiful version of you that you could possibly be. Love you lots. Bye.